the cow isn't the only thing jumping over the moon right now. So is this podcast. Dude, did you know that we've gotten some new followers?
I do. I do. It's pretty amazing, you know. Hi there, new followers. How you
Yeah.
doing?
And
Welcome.
listen, if you're one of those new followers, which welcome, like Denison said. Um, or even if this is your first time, please share. We want to continue to meet new people like
Mm-hmm.
yourself and share in these conversations and grow in them together. I need to go back and watch your solo episode, man. This looks like a banger.
I mean, it's pretty good, man. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, here's what we're going to talk about today. This headline caught my eye. Actually, let me start recording here.
Do it.
All right, here's what we're talking about today. This headline caught my eye, man.
Mm.
A new antibiotic discovered with artificial intelligence may defeat a dangerous superbug. Just when I think, hey, I'm not going to have an AI topic for this week. Boy, am I wrong. Um, so this is what, without really getting into the details, because this is going to be a quick in and out episode here.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's interesting because, you know, this is proof positive of what we've been talking about all along with this technology. Those who will be successful into the future are those who are learning to work with it. You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
this is proof like these are scientists, researchers working with artificial intelligence. They just developed an antibiotic. They couldn't before Chat GPT came out. I'm not saying it's because of Chat GPT they did that. It's not. But
Well, yeah.
like
I mean, they could be using a whole different AI model than ChatGPT or anything like that, but still.
absolutely. But we've talked endlessly on this podcast about how um, artificial intelligence, or at least the conversation of it, has exploded since ChatGPT exploded.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I think these are the things that people need to see as to why this technology is helpful. Because these are things that, believe it or not, are actually growing. The so-called superbugs, not the kind that you'd want. It's like the Dark Avengers superbugs. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember those characters better than I do. It's like World War Hulk, where he wants to kill everyone. It's like
Mm-hmm.
Venom, Spider Man. Um, it's all
These are
like,
not good dudes.
yeah, they were good dudes, but life changed them. So
Exactly.
these
They fell in
viruses,
some hard times, man.
yeah, and some hard people too, man. So these
Yeah.
viruses grew up good, but then they lived on the wrong side of the tracks for a little while, maybe made a couple transactions they shouldn't have, and
Mm-hmm.
next thing you know, they're dark viruses
Exactly.
now.
Super dark viruses now. Bada bing, bada boom.
I know. It's like that. Next thing you know, bada bing, bada boom. Oh man, it's crazy. So, um, these bugs are becoming more and more prominent. And the reason they're called superbugs is because typically they uh, can't get treated by antibiotics. They resist pharmaceutical drugs, but this antibiotic tackles that. Seems like it'd be a pretty big deal, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we got better things to talk about in the news than that. I mean, think of all the legal drama stuff that's going on with someone in political power. Anyway, I think this is a game-changing kind of revolution to see how artificial intelligence is influencing how we treat and provide healthcare for other people. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Let's do it.
Man, do you remember when I had the hair, man, where it was like, actually, yeah, kind of like that,
Mm-hmm.
but like a little shorter on top and then like shaved on the side? this all of this up to here was like 3 weeks ago. But what I'm talking about is like this part was just like under here shaved
Mm-hmm.
and then just let that hang over it. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to go back to that. I looked like a rock star, man.
Do it, man. Do it.
Rock and roll. It's weird, man. Well, I've always had good luck with great clips. Um,
Mm-hmm.
or great luck with good clips.
Ooh.
Which one would be better? I've had good luck with great clips a lot.
Mm.
And for some reason, I do go to a different location now than I used to. And for some reason, this location, I tell them what I want and they don't do it. It's like they're against giving me that cut. And they blend it in on the side. It's like they're like, no, there's no way he's gonna look good in that.
They're
I
like,
have
he doesn't need
photos
this.
proving otherwise. They're like, oh, we just want to help him. He probably doesn't know how ugly he'll look with that haircut. Got photographic evidence proving otherwise. I don't know what you're talking about. I even had a dude that instead of which my hair is too thick right now, so it's gone. But instead of like putting the hard part line in up there,
Uh-huh.
he put it down here,
Oh.
which was
That's
really sick.
that's interesting. Okay.
It was cool because people could see it. Like I had that happen, and from then on, people were like, "Oh wow, is that your first time getting a hard part?" I was like, "No, I'm just 6'1", and you can't tell when I do." Yeah. So,
Exactly. It's got to be a little lower for everybody
mm-hmm,
to be able to see.
mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. Might have to just do it on the sideburn.
Yeah. So you got the hard part on the sidebird.
Yeah. Sideburns. I trim those up a little bit too. You know what I'm saying? All right.
Soon you're going to be listening to smooth jazz, man.
Yeah, that was it. All right, let's get into this, man.
Let's do it.
3, 2, 1. What's going on? I'm John,
And I'm Dennison.
and this is the catch up. I didn't say everyone. What's
Yeah, I
going?
know. I was a
Let's-
little bit off there. I was like,
I
what
felt too
just
far. It
happened?
did, yeah, there was
Felt
something.
weird.
There was something wrong.
Yeah.
For 228 episodes, I've been saying, "What's going on, everybody? I'm John."
Exactly.
All right, let's correct this. Here we go.
Let's do it.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. What's going on, everybody? I'm John,
And I'm Dennison.
and this is the catch up.
Hey, I
And
like
that's
it.
where the money is made, my friends.
That's way better.
Mm-hmm. I hope you guys on rewatch can just enjoy. This is a very late night podcast, and we're just giving you some comedic content. Oh
Exactly.
yeah. All right, let's see what's up here. Okay. Let's go ahead and just skilly dibble doop
Roll
bop
into it.
bam right into it, you know?
Yeah, roll right into it, man. Roll
Yeah.
right into it.
You right? You know what that's from? When that guy does the song about the Krusty Krab with jellyfish jelly on it.
Oh yeah.
Like, he's like skilly bop and doo bop and bam.
Yeah. Hey, all you people. Hey, all you
Crowd's
people.
like cheering for him.
Yeah.
Hey, all you people. Hey,
Won't
all
you
you people.
people? Won't you listen to me?
Honestly, yeah. I just found this sandwich. It's no ordinary sandwich. A sandwich filled with jellyfish jelly. I have no idea how I got good at that like show choir vibrato.
I know.
I don't know. I think I like joked around with it so much I actually got good at it.
Yeah.
Jelly. That was over exaggerated. Hey man, you gotta
Gotta
try
try
this
this sandwich. It's no ordinary sandwich. It's the what was it? It's the greatest sandwich in the deep blue sea.
That's right.
And then there you go. You got
Yeah.
skewed up.
Skilly dop and doop bop and bam.
Yeah.
That's the main part. Oh man. When I count in, every time I count us in, I do this whole thing. You know what I'm
Hmm.
thinking of? This is
What?
how weird my mind is. I'm literally thinking of the scene where Timon and Pumbaa are carrying Simba through the jungle. And
Oh
they're like,
no.
beans, no worries.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh yeah, a Weembawa, a
Yeah,
Weembawa, a Weembawa.
that's literally, I don't know, man. Young at heart, people. That's what you gotta stay. Stay young at heart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If there's a lesson to be learned that you can talk to us in the comments about, stay young at heart. Don't take
Exactly.
yourself too seriously.
Exactly. And watch SpongeBob. It's
For
always the
real.
best way to do it, you know. You know one thing that I found out, or I found not found out, but I just didn't notice, right? Is that there's a whole generation of kids out there who will never know SpongeBob.
I
I,
disagree.
well, I'll
Actually,
say I'll say no SpongeBob in the way that we know SpongeBob.
sure. They didn't experience it when it was new.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
if you look at it, I was just talking about this the other day. SpongeBob, I feel like, is more culturally relevant now than it was when it came out. Like,
Yeah,
I see it
yeah.
everywhere.
No, I mean you're right. You're right, but I'm talking about like the because I've watched some of the newer SpongeBob and it's not the same, man. It doesn't have the
Sure.
same soul, right,
Yeah.
as the
Well,
original.
doesn't have the same pizzazz,
It doesn't, man. It
Yeah.
doesn't. You know.
But I'm not even talking about that though. I'm talking about clips from those like original 6 years that are like genuinely funny. I see those everywhere.
Okay.
Whether it's clips that have been tweaked in some way to be used out of context or
Mm-hmm.
in meme fashion or, whatever. I see it all the time, man.
Yeah, it's just part of the culture now.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know. I could be wrong. I have no idea. But I really, I have a biased perception. I'm not gonna lie.
No, no. I mean, I'm pretty. You're probably right. You're probably right. And maybe I'm just a little bit more cynical. You know.
Oh, I feel that, dude. We're about, we're it's like we're millennials, man. We're
Yeah.
out of touch. We're out of touch. We don't know what kids want.
Exactly. These dadgum
How
kids
could
these
we?
days. These dadgum these Gen Zers, man.
Them dadgum battery licking, artificial intelligence swearing.
Tide Pod eating.
uh, Apple Watch swatching, NBA 2K playing. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
Hold
no, no, that no
This
flip
sounds just like
phone having.
yeah. Wait a minute. They're just like we are.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. You ever think that that's why the older generation hates the younger generation is because secretly they remind them of themselves?
Probably.
Well, or is it like envy? Oh, if I had those, my life would have been way easier.
It could be. I can see for sure the envy portion, right? It's it's envy not just of, having something when you were wishing you had that when you were young, but also the envy of just those younger times, right? The times when you didn't have to worry about certain things, right? You didn't have to worry about bills, responsibilities, or whatever like that. You could just be, you could just exist.
Sure.
And then when you find that they're not doing things the same way that you did, I feel like there's an uh, jealousy, annoyance that comes with that.
Absolutely. Yeah. We didn't have a chat CBD back in my day.
Yeah. Yeah, back in my day, we had to Google search and sift through the answers like normal people.
Back in my day, used to beat your grandma with 10 encyclopedias a day.
Exactly. I had to get I had to get the encyclopedia from the salesman.
I I would like to immediately apologize for saying this live stream.
Would you like to retract that statement?
Yes, I would like to formally retract that crass joke I made on this very serious podcast that we have.
Yeah,
Um,
no, no, you had to beat the encyclopedia man up away because he's always coming to sell you some stuff.
that's what I meant to say.
Yes,
I
exactly.
used to beat the encyclopedia man just so I could get all the knowledge off his books before he came to.
Exactly,
Now
exactly.
you have your chat CBD, whatever it is.
It's crazy.
The only CBD I know is Christian, Bible,
Where you go with
and
this?
diocese. What did you say?
I was like, where are we going? Where was gonna go with for a D?
I had to think about that. It's like diocese. I don't know. Jeez. All right,
I was
so
gonna say
let's get
I
into
was
this
gonna
topic.
say diversity, but that works too.
Oh, I could have
He's-
not gone with the person I was portraying at all. Um, whoops. All right. So here's the situation.
Mhm.
Um, don't go into Fresh Prince of Bel Air. I almost did. Let's see. Yeah. So using artificial intelligence, researchers say they found a new way to tackle missing drug-resistant bacteria with this new antibiotic. I mean,
Mhm.
that's amazing, right? So when they tested the antibiotic on the skin of mice that were experimentally infected with this superbug, dun, 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 it controlled the growth of the bacteria, suggesting that the method could be used to create antibiotics tailored to fighting other drug-resistant viruses. As researchers also tested the antibiotic against 41 different strains of antibiotic-resistant, and there's a name for this that's really hard to pronounce. Uh,
Mhm.
Acinetobacter baumannii, probably.
Hey,
The
great
drug
job.
worked. Oh, thanks, man. I need like a crowd applause button I can hit.
I know.
Um, but it worked. This drug worked on all of them.
Mm.
So that's amazing. So first thing, and these are really kind of the two main things I wanted to talk about this. Um, how important do you think a development like this is, especially right now, coming out of still technically being involved in a pandemic, but kind of coming out of the worst reaches of
You know, I think this is a big deal. I think it's a really big deal because
it?
I think the pandemic it's a big deal because it can help speed up the process of maybe making vaccines, right? Um it shows that there is the possibility of using these, AI that we've created to be able to increase, say, our production of uh, you know, certain new vaccines and sorts of and stuff like that. I'm sure this would have been incredibly helpful and incredibly useful during the pandemic to maybe I don't know. I feel like everything was already pretty well accelerated, especially on the front of getting a vaccine. But who knows if we would have had these tools, say, during the pandemic, if it would have sped up that process, right? If we
Mhm.
would have somehow been able to get a vaccine out instead of waiting, what, almost a year or so for us to get our first set of vaccines.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a
maybe
great,
we,
great thing to
maybe,
ponder. Really,
yeah,
yeah. Would we have been in a pandemic at all with
yeah.
AI helping develop a treatment for it?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, in if you really extrapolate this out, right, and go to more of a broader view or an overhead deal, I mean, if we have AI that is able to now start to help in the process of creating, super virus beating drugs, what's to say that, say, on maybe I guess a macro level, where you have these same more smaller AI generated models that are based on your data set, so which would be your vitals, right?
Mhm.
Your current vitals, how you're doing, consistent information being pumped into this, being, and then this AI already knowing medical information, all of the good stuff, chemistry, all that, and then being able to tailor make, right, say cures for ailments that you have, or even um, monitoring things to where we can see effects or viruses start to populate within the population a lot faster than what we would have before, right? So if we would have, say, had this during the pandemic, maybe we could have seen the spread of COVID happening a lot faster and been able to be like, hey, we're seeing, these, this group of people starting to have more, getting this virus or whatever like that. Let's start to
Yeah.
research on this now instead of later.
Exactly. I think those are all great points. And yeah, like you were saying, to predict where the virus would go. Actually, it's kind of had me wondering. I I think I could kind of predict what it would probably be looked at like before Chat GPT, but now that an entry level AI form has people interested in AI,
Mm-hmm.
do you think people will trust an AI assisted designed drug? Um, in that people were so hesitant with the vaccines before anyway. But I don't know. I could see somewhat of a conspiracy even more where it's like, oh well, then the AI is going to take control of your body, and then you're gonna beat your encyclopedia salesman, and
Exactly. You'll turn into a an AI assisted zombie
uh
or
huh,
something like that.
yeah,
I mean, sure, I think there's always that possibility, and but I think, I guess, yes, I think there could be a higher conspiracy if, say, this was launched without the assistance of ChatGPT becoming very big in public, or very big in the public sphere, right? To where this AI topic has become such a big thing and something that a lot of people are like really jumping on the bandwagon of and are motivated to use and work in. So I do believe say, um, if we would have, say, put out an article like this, right? Say
yeah,
we've been using AI in general in the background, and then we said, hey, we came up with this vaccine. The reason why we were able to come out with the COVID vaccine so fast was because we had an AI model helping us create this vaccine in X amount of time or whatever like that, to be able to speed the process up. I think there would have been a lot more backlash because then people would have been like, "Well, I don't want to trust an AI. Like,
Mhm.
the my Google Assistant still can't pronounce my name. Like, why is
Right.
it that I'm trusting now this computer to give me a vaccine? What's going to happen there? I'm not going to have crazy side effects and stuff."
Right, right. Yeah, well, and that's why I kind of felt too that it would take something like, Chat GPT or something that the image design AI stuff, that would really help somebody um feel like not scared of AI and what the possibilities are. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I get where you're coming from too. I find this incredibly interesting, and there are some very in-depth pieces of this too. But I kind of want to focus on a certain side of this. Let's see here. That's cool. So this AI antibacteria didn't kill the other beneficial bacteria
Mm.
that live in the gut or in the skin. Um, most antibiotics do have an effect like that, you know.
Yeah, yeah. So that's cool. So it was very much targeted for the specific virus or whatever that it's looking for. That's really neat.
It is, but also says the this type of approach to find new drugs is an emerging field that researchers have been testing since 2018.
Huh.
So
Okay.
this it dramatically cuts the time it takes to sort through thousands of promising compounds, which that is the major key. This is why partly that it takes so long to find the answers on how to stop these things.
Yeah.
And
Very
it
true.
really is amazing. Like, um, yeah, I hope that piece of information alone, if people are listening to this and they feel hesitant, puts them at ease. It's helping sift through all the data. That's what it's trying to do. It's not creating its own virus or uh, antibiotic. You know, it's
Yep.
not doing that. It's looking at the data that's already there.
Yep. Just
It's a
speeding
virtual,
the process.
yeah, it's a virtual assistant. That's what we talked about. Because that, think about that, dude. Thousands of compounds takes you days to look at those compounds, retest those compounds, probably
Hmm.
months, and there are thousands of them. And then this can look through it like that and be like, all this would work together. How about that? You know?
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
this is really another example of what we've seen where um, you know, AI has been in the works for a while now. And you and I knew about this. We talked about it a lot off camera.
Hmm.
But what's interesting is so much of it did seem to get put into practice around 2016, 17, 18.
Yep.
Even stuff that we haven't talked about yet on this podcast, but you and I have talked about in the past. And it's all coming to a head around now, the last 6, 7 months.
Yeah. Which is kind of crazy, But it's that cat out of the bag kind of deal, right?
Mhm.
Where it's like now all of these researchers are feeling comfortable with producing or publishing their findings that they've been working on, or I should say, maybe more like publicizing their findings, because it's been public knowledge. It just hasn't been publicized as much as other stuff. As well as now have a whole group of journalists, right, who are now looking for this content that they weren't looking for before because no one was interested in it, right?
Yes. Yes, exactly. And that's a great point, too. But I think it is, which, I mean, sometimes media goes for the shock value because that's how they get you to read it. You know what I'm saying? But
Hmm.
they did kind of bury the whole this has been going on since 2018 kind of detail, you know. Um,
Yeah,
I feel
you're
like
right.
that's I feel like that's a big thing. And overall, this is a really short article. Actually, let me give you a run through, and we'll
Mm,
talk about um, how this can affect the future of medicine.
do it.
So, let's see here. A recent study of hospital patients with this drug resistant bacteria were resistant to even powerful antibiotics that found that 1 in 4 had died within a month of their diagnosis.
Wow.
For this new
Crazy.
study, wait, sorry, what?
No, it's just crazy, just in
Yeah.
general.
Um, let's see. So, first, they used a technique called high throughput drug screen to grow these drug resistant bacteria in lab dishes and spent weeks exposing these colonies to more than 7,500 agents, drugs, and the active ingredients, which included drugs and the active ingredients of drugs. They found 480 compounds that blocked the growth of the bacteria. They fed that information into a computer and used it to train an artificial intelligence algorithm. Once they had their model trained, they could then start showing that model brand new pictures of chemicals they had never seen. And based on what it learned during training, it would predict for us whether those molecules were antibacterial or not. Excuse me. They then have the model screen more than 6,000 molecules, um, which it was done in just the course of a few hours. 6,000. They narrowed it.
Crazy.
You know why I think people are kind of like numb to that thought?
Hmm.
Because so many of those like action movies, they're like cyber hacker action movies. They're
Oh
like,
yeah. Yeah, it's just a
right,
ton of text flying on the screen or whatever like
right.
that.
That stuff wasn't real, but now it is. That's what's crazy. You know?
I mean, maybe not exactly, but yeah.
Right. It does not have Shia LaBeouf racing against a giant artificial and intelligent globe
Yeah.
sitting inside the NSA.
Yeah.
You're right. That is not happening. Hopefully. Um, so then, yeah, screened more than 6,000 molecules. They narrowed the search to 240 chemicals, which they tested in the lab. The lab testing helped them whittle the list to the 9 of the best inhibitors of the bacteria. From there, they took a closer look at the structure of each one, eliminating those they thought might be dangerous or related to known antibiotics. They were left with one compound, um, which was believed to be originally developed as a potential treatment for diabetes. Um, so this is how this was done with the help of AI. So you can see from my description there, it was still very much human led. Actually, there was
Yes.
all there really was just artificial intelligence helping sift through a ton of data.
Yeah,
And,
exactly. They just
and
fed this AI model all the data that they wanted, and then it sifted through it and kind of like summarized it. Kind of like how sometimes we'll need to summarize an article, and we'll just say, "Hey, summarize this for me."
yeah, without a doubt. So, with that said, I'm sure there will be a day. Well, and I'd like to see what your thoughts on this are too. As far as what the future of medicine would look like with this, because I'm sure there will be a day where artificial intelligence comes up with its own compounds,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. No, you're right.
And then able to print them in some manner, have them developed in some manner to where it's in a tablet form and you can intake it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but for all it is right now, it's still very much human interaction. And to me, and again, I want to know your opinion, but I feel like this just speeds up the process. Like this is just the beginning.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
I'm
Oh yeah.
like we're going to see so many advancements in common medicine and more serious matters. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you're right. It's it's like I feel like it's something that we've said almost every episode that we talk about this, but like the AI that we are currently using, seeing, being used, all that good stuff is essentially the worst version, right? It's the worst version that it'll ever be. Unless unless there is some sort of like um I don't know, huge regulation that happens in the future, which I feel like is not going to. But this is the worst version that we'll see. I can
Mhm.
see it to where there'll be. I mean, we talked about Auto GPT, a few months back, and well, not months. I guess it was a few weeks back, really. But we talked about it where it's essentially an AI model, a language AI model that you just give it a task, right? And it starts the process of just kind of figuring it out, right? It's prompting itself, which is really it's asking itself questions like, okay, so Dennison wants me to order a pizza. How do I order a pizza? Oh well, I need a and then it's going to grab that information. Then it's going to say, okay, now I've got this information on how to order a pizza. How am I going to, as a AI, how am I going to order a pizza, right? And so I can see it somehow doing this, getting to a point to where we have an AI model doing something similar to this, where we're like, hey, we've got this issue um, with this virus or something similar to this. Find a cure for it or whatever like that.
Right, exactly. And that's what I was thinking about too is, you could eventually automate this. And I mean, the only thing it would have to search is stuff that hasn't been um cared for yet, or like it's a new drug, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Virus,
yeah,
I should say. Sorry.
yeah,
Um,
because it won't have data on that.
yeah. So that's an interesting thought. I think, yeah, it's going to allow people to find things that will help treat outbreaks, like swine flu
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that, a lot faster and things like that. What I hope is that the good old FDA is using artificial intelligence as well to
Mm-hmm.
speed up their checks of things that should be approved and not approved.
Yeah, no, actually, that's a great idea that they should implement, right? Is that they should, if there's tons and tons of drugs out there that need to be approved and stuff like that, like using artificial intelligence just to sift through the data, just like how this research study did on these super bacterias that they're trying to kill. Um, it makes so much more sense for the FDA to do something similar to that. Which I wonder, though, how would you feel if you found out, say, I don't know, this particular drug that you're taking was sifted through via by an AI? Like, would you want like some sort of text or something like that on there, or do you not even need to know?
No, I think it's kind of similar. I envision it similar to a way that this drug was made. It's like sifting through and it's looking for certain parameters that the FDA itself already lives by, unless they're getting a little extra scratch from like Pfizer or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the FDA otherwise has a set rules that it lives by, and I think that you can have AI automate that and at least whittle it down to send to higher approval,
Mm-hmm.
because there's like FDA approval, which is separate from FDA authorization. What if there was a point in time in the future where FDA approval, um, and I know this just from working in the news when the pandemic was happening and all the vaccines were coming around. But what if there was like an AI vaccine approval process, or not vaccine approval, but yeah, you could do that too. But like an AI, any sort of pharmaceutical drug approval, but the actual authorization was reviewed by their authorization panel, you know,
Hmm. That
by
would be kind of
humans.
cool.
Yeah, by
Kind of like a
humans.
pre-approval stage.
That's already what it is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't see why you couldn't really automate that.
Yeah, that's true. Especially because, I mean, we've already kind of seen just a lot of these government entities lately having a lot of budget cuts. I could easily see, not exactly saying that I would want them to substitute AI for manpower, but I think, especially right now, and a way to try and supplement costs or something similar to that, as well as speed up the process for so much. I think that would be a really good thing. And I want to know from our viewers too, if you're listening to this in the past, or you know if you're listening this for audio form, or say, yeah, you're from the future, you're listening to us, not in the
Okay, I
past.
was hoping you. Okay, I'm glad we got that.
No,
I
no,
was
no, no, we're
hold on.
good. Um, but I would love it, as well as if you guys are listening live. But I would really want to know, how you guys can see, this type of AI that we're talking about right now, how you can see that improve some of the things that we have already, right? Because I can even see it for Texas, right? That would be cool, right?
Yeah,
We have an AI model that helps someone with their, not
with their
helps them with the,
taxes.
yeah, helps them with their taxes, but even like speeds up the rate at which the IRS is able to go through and like check out some of the stuff, like some of the
That,
requests and stuff,
that'd be
right? That
good.
would be cool.
Yeah, well, and that's more or less what I meant with the FDA too. I don't want to remove the people, but give them this tool that will help all of this go faster, so
Yep.
people can be healthy. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I like that idea a lot. It's really interesting. This is a really interesting prospect. I think what they would need to do next is have an AI that can help design new compounds that could be used for new drugs. You know,
Okay, I like that.
that'd be really cool. There's space for AI with everything.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's what's so exciting about it. And we talk about it. That is, in fact, why we talk about it every week.
Mm-hmm.
So really appreciate you guys jumping in with us on the live stream. If you are late at night, or if you're rewatching it, or if you traveled back in time, just if you created the first time machine in 2075 and you said, I missed the Catch Up Podcast episode 228 live stream, but I want to watch it,
Yeah.
and you went back in time just to watch this, thank you so much. Please give us a like and a subscribe. Um,
Yeah, exactly. It means so much,
yeah,
even if you're in the future.
yeah, well, but it wouldn't be in the future because he'd be from the past. Duh,
Future
Dennis.
past, days of future past. There we go.
This is it's this simple theory of relativity or whatever it's called. It's
Yeah,
not called
exactly. I
that.
mean, hey, time is relative, so it
Yeah,
just depends on which way you're viewing stuff.
yeah. See, that's what I'm saying.
You
So,
know, we are all in the present, past, and the future all at the same time.
mhm.
I mean, I guess technically, if you really think about it, you're never in the future.
No, the future is now.
Yeah, because you're always present. Your consciousness is always present
I
and the
just started.
future.
I just started a world revolution, like not like an overthrowing revolution, just like a empowering revolution. The
Yeah,
future is now, baby.
the future is now. Exactly. You are always living in the future.
Hmm.
Not really, but yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean,
I mean,
technically,
in some ways you are technically, right?
I haven't done this yet. Dang it! No, I did it.
Yeah, you did it.
Mhm.
Exactly. Darn, you couldn't even predict, like you predict the future and bam, look at that. Came true.
Really crazy. Uh, wonder if AI. I just want to tag this on. Also, thank you guys for listening to a very goofy episode.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't done something this goofy for a while, and it's really fun. But I wonder if they could use AI to help create better messaging when there is a major public health emergency and there are things available to help people, and they could use it to help create better messaging, so people would have a higher intake of it.
Yeah.
I have one quick question for you before we go.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about this the other day, and somebody I spoke with brought this up. I didn't even bring it up, but I was already thinking about it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so um, in the Industrial Revolution, right?
Mm-hmm.
We go back like 100 years, um, more than that. But people designed these machines so that humans could work less, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it just made humans work more and learn to work the machines, right?
Well, yeah, because you could get more tasks done now that one task has been supplemented.
Right. So, Do you think that with AI supplementing the workplace, will work be able to work less, or we'll find more work that we have to do?
That's a that's a hard question, man. The only reason why I say it's hard is because the thought process is yes, technically, if you're introducing something that can make your job more efficient, faster, technically that would mean that you would work less, right? But like you just stated, during that time, the whenever like these big revolutions happened, the advent of specific the invention of a specific machine, like the printing press, or um, I can't think of another big one. I don't know, steam power stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
that's good.
um,
That's a good one.
but the advent of those did supplement the work. And so it did, in one way, mean that the user or the person or the operator was doing less work. But then we added more work onto them because now that task doesn't need to be used anymore by a person, right?
Right.
You can have another person. With AI it's a little different because yes, you are supplementing certain people's tasks, but there's at least there's a very quick possibility of supplementing a whole person's job role, right?
Mm,
Maybe not in the not where we are right now, right? Not in our current state, but I can easily see it in our future state to where we have AI models that are able to supplement, say, a programmer's job, right?
sure.
Or more white collar. That's one thing that I've noticed a lot with a lot of these AI models is that it's more of the white collar jobs that are a lot easier to um, essentially like get rid of, or
Right.
at least have an AI kind of jump in and be slightly more efficient than a person. And so I don't know. I mean, I guess technically, yeah, it would make a whole person's job far more. Well, I mean, they would work less because they don't have a job. Um, Now that's more on the cynical side. I think technically, I think the workers will become more efficient, which will in turn make them work a little bit less, but we may do the exact same thing as we did in the first industrial revolution, where we end up creating a more fast-paced work environment because now we know that we have AI models that can generate something like, in a flash, right? Because think about it, right? If you have, let's say you're an organization, you want to put out a new ad campaign,
Hmm.
you have ChatGPT or some sort of AI language model create the outline for an ad, or no, you have your workers create an outline for the ad campaign, right? The
Sure.
marketing campaign that you want for this, say, new product, right? You can call it like Wonder Fizz, and it's a new soda or something like that. um you can
Right.
have the AI help out with those individual tasks, right? So it'd say, hey, write out, we have this outline, we want to hit this and this. Now write out specific commercials for each of these, and we want it to do this and this. The
Hmm.
AI will create that, where normally it would be a normal person's job. Now you're going to have one person who's going to review all of that information, maybe two, depending on how much stuff you have. So you've reduced, instead of needing, say, a person to write out the commercial and then a person to review and then the final decision maker or whatever like that, you could
Yeah.
essentially eliminate that third person here, right? There we go. You can eliminate this third person, which is the writer, right? And
Hmm.
so now you've just got these two people, which is your first reviewer and your final decision maker.
Yeah.
um Uh, but I mean, you could also technically boil that down to just the decision maker is your reviewer and your final decision maker. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a weird in between. I feel like we're gonna find ways that we could increase the task to where that's why I said you could increase it, right? If you cut out, say, two people, your reviewer and your or your reviewer and your writer, and you just have final decision maker and technically now a reviewer, that one person now has the job of two people.
Hmm.
Um,
Sure.
So, I mean, you got more stuff, but you also lost a two jobs for that purpose.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't know. I mean, I can I can see it going either way. It just really depends on how hard we lean into these AI models and how we want to push them. Because ultimately, we are in some ways showing like these AI companies where we want to move the AI models, right? Because they're only going to build an AI model that is going to be based on the most popular idea of usage or whatever like that.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah, I feel where you're coming from with that. On a simplistic level, I think, it could be, hey, I know you can do this faster if you work with this AI. We're gonna up your output, because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, because we want money,
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Instead of having one ad campaign, now you have three ad campaigns going on at the same time because you can spit them out faster.
Yeah. Or you could get the same amount of work done and do a 4-hour workday, or well, or a 4-day work week.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true. That'd be nice.
you know, I'm just gonna say that. So anyway, yeah, I think we had a great discussion on all of this. Thank you guys
Hmm.
so much for tuning in. I know it's a late one, and we hope that you watch it back if you weren't here when we were live. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, rate, subscribe wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching. Um, Please give us a review. That will help us continue to grow as well. And check out our merch shop linked down below. All that money helps go to support our um, podcast that we
Hmm.
love to bring to you every single week. So, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch up with you next week.
Yeah.